All right, guys, welcome back to the DroneOn podcast. I'm excited to bring you guys today's episode where we sit down and we have a conversation with Bennie from Hoeksfontein Safaris in South Africa. I got to know Bennie from an Instagram DM. I believe one of his closer friends had reached out to us for thermal drone related stuff. And after talking to him for a while, it actually turned into a hunting trip. And so I went to South Africa, got to know Bennie, got to see his ranch, and then ended up giving him a thermal drone to use on his ranch. So in today's conversation, me and Kevin sit down and have a talk with Bennie to see how does this thermal drone technology help his ranch in South Africa. And so it's going to be a really cool, interesting conversation with a third generation ranch owner. So we're going to get right into it. I'm excited to bring you guys this episode. Here we go.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. So I'm the fourth generation on the farm. We've been there for 7 generations. My dad just passed last year, so I'm taking over the hunting business from my dad.
And you're how old?
I'm 25.
25 years old. And how many acres is your ranch?
Our ranch is about 10,000 acres.
Okay,
that
but
we
that's not
privately own.
that's not the only acres that you can hunt because you got access
Yeah,
to
no, we got concessions on over 100,000 acres. So we've got
100,000
That
acres.
is large.
it's a very big piece of land that we can hunt.
Yeah.
It's a lot
yeah.
different than the hunting in the States that I've recently got to know.
Yeah, because the last few days here, you've been going with me in Ohio doing deer recoveries, and you're hearing some of my customers have 50 acres.
Yeah.
And it's large. If it goes over 150 to 300 acres, that's a big tract of land.
Yeah, it does sound a lot different than what we're used to. For me, it's also something that I have to get used to. For you guys, I was in Colorado also doing elk hunting,
Yeah.
and
Was that public land or was that private land?
it was private land. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but that's also, we don't call in Africa for any animal, so that was something to get used to. The elk calling.
Oh, calling
Calling
them
elk?
in. Yeah. So like turkey hunting, you would try to call in the birds. Elk the same way.
Mhm.
Duck hunting. So no calling over there.
Nope, not often.
So what's your style of hunting over there?
Our style of hunting would be spot and stalk.
Yep, we definitely were doing that.
Yeah, we were walking a lot. So the ranch is so big, you're going to have to drive to a certain spot in the area, depending on where you're going to go hunt in that day. And then we'll spot an animal and see if we can get close enough to take a shot.
Yeah, yep. I'm going to bring up, Bennie is 25 years old. He has a 10,000 acre ranch, but it's not like that this ranch has just been given to you. Like the amount of work that you put in to keep the ranch what it is,
Mhm.
there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of work. Maintenance, especially now with social media, getting all this stuff sorted out. My dad was against all social media. He
Oh,
had
yeah?
Facebook
No
and an
way.
old website, and I had to redo all of that, modernize it.
So are you, how long have you been running it?
4 years now.
3 or 4 years?
Yeah, because tell us, your dad got sick with...
Motor neuron, MS. You guys know
Okay,
it as
okay,
MS.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so technically you were kind of like taking the ranch over because he was sick for, what was it, 3 or 4 years?
He was sick for 4 years, but I kind of started taking over the last 2 years. He was sick. He was bedridden. And
Oh,
So have you brought the ranch into the era of social media and videos and
yeah,
website?
I tried doing Instagram, Facebook, and all that.
I feel like you're working on it, definitely, just by bringing in YouTubers, right? Like some guys over there weren't sure about bringing in YouTubers like
Mhm.
Braden Price, Kurt Price, and then myself. We went over there and created this content. What type of feedback did you get from the locals doing that?
I must say, there's a lot of guys that watch you guys' YouTube channel from South Africa. It's like when I was there, after you guys left and started posting, people asked me, "Oh, they were there." I'm like, "Yeah," and they know you guys, so you're kind of famous in South Africa as well. It's not just American people
I
that watch you
couldn't-
guys.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it myself. So Bennie took us up this mountain that was just getting a road cut into it. It was brand new road, and we're going up there, and the guy that was operating this project, he was like, "Oh, I seen you on YouTube," and I'm like, "I'm in the middle of nowhere, South Africa." And
crazy.
somebody from
Yeah,
South
that's
Africa
crazy.
was watching
Yeah.
the YouTube channel. I believe, we talk about it a lot of times. It's because the technology, it's not just, here in America that it's valuable. It's also other parts of the world. And we got to experience that in South Africa on your ranch. We're just going to get right into it unless you have more questions for him.
I want to know, like, thermal drones, if people are aware of the channel and, like, are thermal drones generally accepted and do they have a place for the African ranch owner?
Like, we don't have any rules in that way. So you can use a thermal drone to recover your animal day or night. There's no rules
ranch
against
owners
it.
do it? Like, is it
There
a lot of them
is,
have it, or?
I do not know of anybody that does it. Like, I'm the only guy that has a drone in my area. I know one other person that has a drone, but he has a spraying business as well.
Okay, we're jumping ahead of this conversation. You have a thermal drone now because when I was there in South Africa, when I first got there, let's just be honest, you did not believe that thermal drones would work.
No, I was amazed how they work and the
what did you
quality
think it was
of
going to
the
be like? I mean, you saw the videos, right? So why did you not believe?
I think I believe to see something in person before I can believe it, because you see so much stuff on social media that's fake.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's so normal, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Would you say you got a little bit that from your dad? Like,
I would say I'm stubborn, a little bit like my dad, believing stuff.
There's no doubt that he was a little stubborn. Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So you had to see it for yourself. You
I had to
see
see
that
it,
it works. And then did you do that on that trip with Mike and Braden and stuff? You got to see it for yourself?
Yeah, we did a lot of recoveries with the thermal and with a big drone. We had a T40 there.
Yeah, so you were familiar with drones, right? You used drones on your ranch for like using RGB, red, green, blue cameras, making cool videos or getting photos of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But when I told you I'm bringing a thermal drone and I have a 200 times zoom camera, you were just like, well, what? We got rocks and bush and you can't look through that stuff?
Yeah, I was thinking we have our rocks is going to keep a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And it does, but when it cools down, the thermals on that drone, it adapts to what the surrounding is, and that's pretty cool. I did have a small drone just for filming, and that was a real eye-opener to see different parts of the ranch, especially from a higher standpoint. That was cool to have, but just that thermal switch, that opens up different levels.
And that 200x zoom.
Oh, that zoom is incredible. That zoom.
Yeah, oftentimes when people watch the footage on, YouTube, it looks clear on YouTube, but when you do it in person, the clarity is way better. So we're going to get into like how I got you switched over to believe that the thermal drones are a thing, right? I started flying my drone and I was finding animals and I hit them with that zoom. You were like, man, that is impressive. But where you really were convinced was on that Springbok that Braden shot. Remember that?
Yeah, he shot it the afternoon and we went back 3 hours later and we found it within 10 minutes. It was cold that night though. But that thing just popped out. The red thermal picked it up.
If you guys haven't seen that video, and not a lot of you have, if you're listening to this, go back to the Drone Day Recovery YouTube channel and look at the Springbok recovery. I think it only has 1,500 views, but it is really a video showing, like, I'm taking Bennie out in the field, and he's like, you know what, Mike? If you can find this, then I'm hooked and I believe it. And when I hit that zoom, he's like, I don't believe it. Like, let me see that thing. I was like, there he is. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So how are you using your thermal drone currently on the ranch? Because it can be used for so much more than just doing recoveries. You got a lot of... Go ahead.
Yeah, do you have issues with poachers and like stuff like that going on with 10,000 acres?
Yeah, we don't really have that much of poachers because of the area that we are in, but there's so many ranches that poaching is a big thing.
So the area you're in, I don't know if we've hit on this. You're in South Africa, but what's like the closest bigger town that somebody might know?
We're in the Karoo, the small Karoo. They would say in South Africa, it's in the eastern part of South Africa. Closest town would be Hoeksfontein, and the closest airport is Port Elizabeth.
Yeah.
About 2.5 hours.
So we flew to Cape Town, and then from Cape Town to Port Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And then you had your guys come pick us up in Port Elizabeth and then take us out into the country. And I'm telling you guys, if you've never been to South Africa, you're going to want to go check out Bennie's website, Hoeksfontein. Am I saying it right?
Hoeksfontein, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
You almost need to put it down right here because you never going to know how to spell it out.
Because, so we traveled, it was nighttime when we went to the ranch, and I didn't get to see what part or what the terrain looks like once we got there. And then the next morning when the sun came up, the mountains, just the beauty. I was absolutely blown away with how beautiful it looked. That was my biggest thing. is seeing the ranch, and I didn't realize there's that big mountain.
It's a whole different scenery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably something like you can't, just like the drone, you don't really understand it till you're there.
Until you're there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're using the drone not only to do recoveries, we hit on this a little bit, but what else might you use it for?
I've used it to count some of my game, especially in the winter time. So you're not sure how many animals. The ranch is so big, it's impossible, even if you take a helicopter, to count the animals.
And
But-
you guys, you do use helicopters at times.
Yeah, we do big game counts and trying to see the rough estimate of how many animals we do have on the farm or the ranch. But just having that drone, like I went out the one morning early, so I can have good thermals. And I was amazed of how many just kudus. I was looking at kudu, trying to see how many trophy kudu bulls we have. And just in one valley, I spotted like 8 big bulls and a couple young bulls. That's amazing. If you were to sit there with binos and just try and see them, they are so camouflaged. You would never be able to see them.
I can totally vouch for that. Like, there's times when Benny's looking through his binoculars and he's like, there's a kudu over there. And I'm like, I don't see nothing. Like, but aren't they're called, what is the gray ghost?
The gray ghosts of Africa.
It's almost like they change colors, because remember that one time we were like out toward the desert and they were more brown than they were dark gray?
They do kind of change colors. If they're in the sunlight, they kind of turn yellow, whitish, and they camouflage. And when they're in the shade, they turn black. They really camouflage, and that's most of the animals.
Yeah.
Like even a zebra, you would think that thing is just gonna pop out because it's white and black, and that thing camouflages pretty well.
So at any one time, Benny, you have no idea how many animals are on your ranch. Like you literally
not a
have
precise number, no.
So what's the range? Like how accurate are you able to hone in? Like within dozens or hundreds, or?
I would say percentage wise, I would have probably be like 75% accurate how many animals there is.
Yeah.
And you never know, because we got predators like jackal and lynx that catch animals. So the numbers go up and down, especially now that our animals are having babies. The jackal, they're just like, we lose about 30 to 40% of all our new babies just from jackal and lynx. Yeah.
Are you
That's
able
horrible.
to hunt jackals?
Yeah. It's a nuisance, jackal. We try to hunt them.
And a jackal is like a coyote.
It's exactly like a coyote. It's a little bit smaller. Same principle. They would, not just the game. My brother's a sheep farmer, and they catch, if not one sheep every night.
So have you used the thermal drone for anything to do with jackals?
I tried doing that one night, but I think they're so clever they hear the drone at night, and and the bushes is so thick. It's pretty hard to spot.
And there's a smaller game, so to pick them up through the bushes can be a little bit harder than it would be if it's like a kudu or something like that.
Yeah, it is small, so you would pick it up. If I were to go out, I'd spot some.
Yeah.
If I'm going jackal hunting at night, I wouldn't fly the drone.
Yeah.
I have some other thermal, but
go ahead.
So if thermal drones, right, are like you said, you're the only one in your area, you're only ranch owner in the area that has a thermal drone.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see how you'd predict just drones in general, heavy lift, thermal drones. Like if you had to say, hey, in the next 5 years, here's what I think the life of an African ranch owner, how it's going to change with drones. What do you see coming down the pipe?
I think it's definitely going to change. Just being, people normally just went to go hunt. Now they're filming their safari, and just having that camera with a backup so you can track the shot that was the hunt, or the hunter shoot. That's something else. So having the thermal, like mine now, if I go out, I know I'm doing trophy hunting. We're going after a big buck, and we really don't want to lose it. I have my thermal drone on my back seat. I just keep it there, batteries charged. I don't have a battery generator yet, but that's something to look at. But just in case, if it goes up, we normally, the old way that we used to track it would be the trackers would go and find the blood. And the bush is so thick some places, and we take the bloodhounds with to see if they take the track. And some places you can't really walk, so the bushes are low. That's where the dogs help a lot.
Yeah.
But some animals like the kudu, the impala, they're faster than a dog, so they would outrun a dog. Where a thermal, the drone, if you have that thing in the camera, you're not going to lose it.
Yeah.
Even how thick the bush is.
Yeah. And you were telling me a story earlier where you use both, because I've got quite a bit of bushback because of dog owners that were trackers. Right in the beginning, I'm telling them how much better the drone is. And here's the deal. In my opinion, it is better. But if somebody wants to use both to track, I don't have a problem with that. You were telling me a story where you were tracking something because you have a tracking dog and then you have your drone. How was that story? It was in the daytime and you found the dog.
Yeah, it was in the daytime. I would say it's about 90 degrees outside, so it was warm. The thermals didn't work as well. So we had the dogs on the animal. It was Impala at that time. I should be able to get you guys some footage. The dogs have white tails and white heads, so you can kind of see them with a normal camera. So I was trying to see if the thermals work, and I could pick up the dog's white tail, and they normally bark when they have animals. So then I kind of just went to go see where the dog is, and as soon as I spotted the dog, I could spot the Impala, and then
so you just use the RGB camera.
yeah, this is just a normal camera to spot the dog because it's white. You can see the tail, and then I used the thermal, and as soon as I had that, I can drop a location for the guys, and they were completely in the wrong direction to where the animal actually was.
Wow.
So they lost the dog that was tracking the Impala.
Yeah. Like some of the bushes, you can't walk through. They're so thick.
Yeah,
So
you think, just go underneath it? No. It's to the ground, and it's probably got thorns on it.
Yeah, it's full of thorns. You just can't go scooting through it. Through there.
If you scoot through it, you're coming out the other side probably bleeding.
Yeah, ripped off. Yeah, and that really helps.
Yeah.
That helps.
So, game recovery, using it to inspect fence. Have you done that yet? Because
our fence is so big, it's impossible to really do it with a drone. Like you can see if the whole fence is gone after like a big rain with something I think it's like called a carpet, where the river comes down, where we have a fence, so the water it'll give with the water coming down. That you can kind of see, but the fences are so close to each other, it's so hard to see it on the drone. It'll take a long time. Like even by foot, it takes us a week just to see the fence, and that's a couple guys doing different areas.
Yeah.
So a couple guys walking or driving the entire fence line.
We have some roads next to the fence, but you'll have to walk it there. Like it's so big.
Visually looking between every post to make sure that nothing has been dug under or anything like that.
And
does a drone not make that easier? Is there no way to cut down on time and stuff with the drone? If you just fly close to the ground and...
If you can, but there's so many bushes, and we have those thorn bushes that grow against the fence.
Yeah.
And you don't see some of the shady parts.
So it's not necessarily a wide open area where the fence is...
I think there's some areas in South Africa where there's no bushes. Like if you go into the Free State where it's just grass, you can go and look there, and then you see the lines of the fence. Especially if you do it kind of in thermal, I think that will also work if you can see the lines. Yeah. But we got warthog and the jackal. They make holes underneath the fence. So if the grass is about 3 feet tall, you can't really see the holes that they make.
Okay. Yep. So probably a silly question, but why wouldn't you spray like a herbicide or something right over the 40 foot around the fence, so you never have any foliage and trees and stuff up to the fence? But now you could easily do that with a spray drone now. So that you have this clear designation of line that you could then, with a thermal drone, you could just inspect the whole thing.
I'm sure you can do that. In some smaller farms or places, that would be possible, but doing it on 10,000 acres or bigger...
How many miles is that?
I think it's 60 miles of fence.
60?
And
that costs money,
what
right?
What would that be like?
The chemical costs money as well.
That's true.
And just because they have 10,000 acres doesn't mean they have millions in the bank. Trust me.
To be able to spray all of that, that'll cost a lot of money. But there is some farms close to the road, the main roads. They cut it. They cut the next to the fence. They would cut it, and then they would just with a small bottle sprayer spray on the fence.
Yeah.
If you were to spray the whole thing, it would be very costly.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest challenges that you, as a new 10,000 acre ranch owner, or somewhat new, what are your biggest challenges in a day-to-day or, this year? What are your main obstacles or challenges that you...
Well, maintaining the farm, the roads and the fences, that's a big thing to get all the animals to stay inside and keep the others out.
So do you do everything by hand, or you have heavy equipment?
That check the fences or build a fence?
To maintain the roads.
Oh, the roads? If the road's really bad, we would get in a big machinery to come and clear up. We just had new road made. But otherwise, mainly it's just baboons throwing in rocks in the roads and trees growing in that we would cut.
Is hunting the main source of income or the only source of income on the ranch?
No, so we're kind of divided. My brother does the farming side of the business. He does a lot of alfalfa and has sheep and cows. So he loves doing that. I like working with people. I like hunting. It's not a real job for me. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So that I like doing what I do, and he likes doing what we do. So we help each other build the farm, and it's a family business. So it's not mine. It's me and my brothers.
Yeah. I would say when I was there, something that I seen that you like to do is hospitality. Like whatever it was, you were always asking us, like, if it's something to eat, if we wanted something different cooked, you would ask us that. So I would say that hospitality, I could tell that that's what you like to do, is to really cater to people, make them comfortable. And even if I'm from the other side of the world, I felt comfortable there. So
Yeah, that's a big thing. So you guys coming so far across the world, you have to be comfortable there, and
Yep.
that's what we try to do. We really want you guys to feel like at home, and especially with the food. I
Yep.
don't know how the food was for you guys, but
It was good.
yeah, we cook a lot, and our cooking methods are a little bit different than yours. We
Yep,
like
yep.
cooking on the fire, on the grill, instead of
Sounds good.
oh yeah.
Kevin would love it there because he is crazy about trying exotic foods. You were all excited to go to China and
Oh no,
eat cat and dog.
oh no.
Just to be clear, what I'm excited about is taking you to China
And making
you
me eat it.
cat and dog.
No.
Yeah, delicious. Yep.
No,
No, I
I,
wouldn't
I,
do that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. No, but like you have all kinds of other so Americans have such a limited diet. Like you got burgers. I mean, just in general, like you have so many good foods that are not normal here, or even just like different spices that bring a whole new taste to.
Yeah,
So did you experience any foods in Africa?
I did.
Good ones, not good ones?
Yeah, no, it was good. Like, because obviously we were eating stuff that we were hunting. Like, I
Yeah,
got
a lot of meat.
Yeah, wildebeest,
I was the blue wildebeest we had that one
yep.
night, the fillet
like kudu.
and the
Good.
kudu. Yeah,
Yep, had kudu.
we had, the meat's good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. The only one that I didn't like was lamb, but something wasn't quite cooked right or something. But it was still.
Yeah, I think it was a bit overcooked.
Yeah.
It's hard to cook for 10 people, and
Yep.
it's not like they make the food, you must sit there. So it waits when you guys are ready, then you can eat.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but everything that I done on the ranch, I loved it. Actually, did we talk about, do you use your thermal drone for security? Like checking your shops, like, different houses to make sure that guys aren't out there stealing stuff, or not really?
Where I'm at in the area, it's pretty safe, but you sometimes do get a lot of people trying to steal sheep, especially now, close to Christmas time. There's a lot of people stealing sheep and trying to get.
So I've heard crazy stories about what happens to South African poachers who are, poaching animals. What happens to somebody who's caught stealing sheep or other big game?
Yeah.
So at the moment, it normally just goes through the police. So they would get, if they get caught, they would go to jail.
But to be clear, your ranch is so far out in the country that you're not dealing with that. You said that's more toward the bigger cities?
yeah, more towards the bigger cities. There's a lot of black people that have their own sheep and cattle, and they farm it close to the town, and they have somebody looking after that cows and cattle the whole time. And you do get people that want to try and steal them, and they have a more traditional way of sorting people out instead of calling the police.
More traditional.
More traditional,
Yeah.
and it works. It works. It really works, keeping people away from their stuff,
Yeah.
especially
So
if
what
you
would
know.
you do if you caught somebody stealing some sheep, or are you just calling the police?
So I would catch that person.
Yeah. So you
and
just go out there on
obtain
like
him,
an ATV or something, or
yeah, pick up or wherever
vehicle.
he
Yeah.
is, trying to catch him.
Their pickups are different than ours.
Yeah.
Like, you can.
You're just hauling. You're hauling after him, so you detain him. You call the police, and you
Mhm.
just hold him until the police comes.
Yeah, so we need to have proof that they stole
Yeah.
stuff. I haven't done it with a drone yet, but I'm sure nobody's gonna get away. If I catch them with that thermal,
Yeah.
there's
you
no
gotta-
way of a person getting away.
Yeah.
We've had some sheep of my brother that he couldn't get it. The guys couldn't get them. They just got so smart in the bush. And I just flew out, and it wasn't 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and I got them.
Wait, when you say you got them, what do you mean by you got them?
Found them.
I found them with a drone.
You found the people.
No,
that
no,
were-
no, sheep.
The sheep were hiding in the bush.
I thought this is a
No, the sheep were hiding in the bush, and the farm hands couldn't find the sheep because it's so thick. And you took your thermal drone out there and found it.
Yeah, I did once try to get one of my workers. He was looking at fences, but his radio went down, and I'm like, where is this guy? It's taking long. And I took the drone up, and I found him. He was fixing a piece, and yeah, I found him so easily. Like
that is cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
So let's talk about heavy lift drones. Is that going to change the way that your customers pull out animals? Like, do you see that happening, or is that like, are guys going to want to go in after it and pull it out by hand, or what's that going to be like?
There's the old traditional way of you have to carry out your meat.
Yeah.
And some of the meat hunters that we get locally, that's what they prefer.
Yeah.
But nowadays, people have gotten lazier, say, to carry out something. If it's flat, then you can drive up your pickup too close to it and then pick it up. Yeah, of course. But some of the valleys, like me and Mike shot a kudu in a deep, deep, deep valley. Like it was 200 feet down.
Yep.
It was.
And rocks, big rocks, not just like, it's not just a grade down. It was like huge rocks we're trying to climb up over.
So I'm just curious then. So why is there also kind of people that just want to get it out with the drone? Like, is that going to be more normal?
There's people that let's say they're not physically able to carry it. We do have people that carry your meat, your carcasses out, but
that's normally the tracker's job, right? Yeah. So if you're going to South Africa, don't expect that you need to haul out all your meat and bring in, pack. What is that called? Pack frame. Yeah, like that's not it at all, because basically when you shoot something, he will bring his guys in and they will pack all.
Is
all
there
the meat out.
an issue of meat going bad or something like that sometimes, or is that not an issue typically?
There sometimes is issues, especially in the warmer time, the summer season. We hunt mainly in the mornings, so it gets pretty warm in South Africa, and then you want to be out, especially when there's flies. And we don't normally cut up the meat. We try to extract it whole.
Yeah.
So there's
like in quarters.
In quarters.
And they usually put it on sticks and then carry it out like that. I can tell you who likes drones over there. The trackers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The guys do.
Big fans.
But I don't want to replace their job. But that's the one thing I found that was hard having that heavy lift drone is having to have it on the pickup the whole time.
Yeah.
If you were to have something stationary at one point, so you can just, when you need it, go up, hook it up, and go. That would be
hard on 10,000 acres.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is hard because sometimes we go 3 hours on a pickup one way, and you have to go back that same way to get it.
Yeah,
it does take that long to get from one end to the other. It's like, geez, we've been driving for a while.
Yeah.
If the heavy lift drones get to that point where they can fly for a lot longer and run off a, say, 4G network or satellite or something like that, then maybe it could replace certain things. But for right now, it's just for those special occasions. Like
special occasions,
when I shot my kudu down in that deep ravine, you had said we would have packed him. If the guys would have had to carry him out, we would have went down the river. Right?
It would have been a whole day carrying out that.
A whole day.
We did it in 15 minutes.
Yeah, so we flew it up. But there's scenarios where you might use it. It's not for every situation, but yeah, if you have it, say you'd have a shed kind of more in the central part of your 10,000 acres, maybe you could go grab it then. Or, with battery technology, it might be getting better. You can fly it further to go get those haul outs or whatever.
They are getting better. I'm sure if all that develops, it's going to be a critical tool to have.
And you're the first guy that's trying it. When I called you and I told you I want to use a heavy lift drone, you were like, What
to be honest, I did not think it was that big. Even just the matrice, I thought I'm used to the smaller drones, and that thing you took it out. Okay, it's big, but it's not that big. It can't do that much. And the camera on that thing is incredible. It really is. And then we had that guy came. You actually hired one from South Africa, T40.
Yep.
And he came in there with a truck.
Yep.
It wasn't a small thing, like a truck and a big box, and we had to take it off, and that was cool to experience. If you he had to come there we had only had it for the week, but if you would to have that already stationary somewhere, it would definitely help. And if not, just with the hunting side of carrying out stuff, Like if you were to see where our fences go up on the mountains,
Yep.
and those have to be carried out
Yep.
by person.
Yep.
There's
That's
no
what
other
you were
way.
bringing up while we were there. Because so I was using the T40. Currently, we have the Flight Cart 30. If you guys are interested, make sure to check it out on our website. But the Flight Cart 30 is a drone that is built very similar to the T40, which is the Agris series of these drones. But it flies with 2 batteries, has a parachute, and it can go along a lot further, has a winch system on it. And he started talking to me about these mountains. Like, you look at a mountain in New Mexico or Arizona is usually what I tell people, like what it kind of looks like, but it has trees as well. So not deserty. But he's talking to me about, Mike, this would make it a lot easier for me to rebuild a fence, flying fence posts or whatever you might.
Oh yeah, it will make the job for the guys, and the time making it would be so much faster.
Yeah.
If you can have a place where let's say if it's poles or how much what you're trying to take up the mountain. If you have just like a stationary place where you would come with a pickup, drop it off, and then fly it from there.
Yep.
Like with that generator, we could go the whole time. It's not like you only have so much batteries. That thing charges quick. That was really cool.
Yeah, and they're only getting better. They're getting bigger and they're getting faster. They're able to fly further. I think like what you're talking about, right? So you live in the mountains, and I've talked to Landon and Kevin about this. It's like we don't live in the mountains, so I don't necessarily know what all needs to be done in the mountains, but I do know that if I live in the mountains, I'd want a drone because I can now go from this ridge to that ridge in minutes rather than hours just driving, going from one side.
It's actually one of the fun things about our job is it's part of our job to kind of push the envelope and figure out how drones are going to change all these different parts of life. And I remember the calls, like when you found a guy in South Africa, because you knock on a couple of doors to find somebody who says, I got a drone, I'll let you rent it. For what now? Say, what are you going to do with it? And I remember, those calls back and forth when I was trying to wire him money, and it's like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, I've never heard of doing that before, but yeah, you're going to need to pay a lot of like insurance or whatever.
Extra money down.
Extra money, because I don't think that's a normal thing to do with the drone. And that's what we get to do every day. Is figure out
it is really cool.
New things to do with drones.
Absolutely. The T60 that's coming soon, that thing will pick up 200 pounds easily. And now you're talking about moving a big generator around, or maybe it's a water pump. I know that you guys have a bunch of springs on the ranch. Spring is, you probably have water pumps, right?
We do have water pumps. There's so many other things that you would want to carry wherever you want to take it. Like some places where you have to carry per person, you have to go there and then walk back and carry the same thing or whatever you have to do where it comes from, especially in those trees where it's uncomfortable to walk. Like you have to walk through the bushes underneath, and if you're carrying something, it's so hard. That one kudu we did from Braden as well. It was deep in the mountains, and there's no way of getting there with a pickup. We just flew piece by piece back to the pickup in the middle of the road. Like it was so easy. It was so easy.
There was even guys hunting there while we were there, and they requested the drone to come help fly out an eland.
Eland's a big animal.
Big animal.
It's bigger than an elk.
Yeah, it's so big, and it would have took them. Didn't he say 3 hours? It wasn't super far, but
it's a decent hour's walk or half an hour's walk just from the pickup to where the closest place is. So where he was, the eland went down, and we didn't. You actually had me fly the first time.
Yeah,
you just like, here, you take it. I'm like
kind of like you in that ultralight. I didn't even think of that.
The ultralight?
Yeah. So I was like, are you ready? And then you got up there and then you flew the drone down there.
Yeah, that was a crazy experience for me as well. Like Mike was talking about, he loves flying and well, I've flown in big planes, but nothing small. And he said, well, he has his license. Let me take you on one of his planes. And
we're talking, I switched it up because we're talking about the heavy lift drone, right? I was flying out to me, and then I told you, are you ready? And you're like, me? Fly this heavy lift drone? And you got up there and you started flying the heavy lift drone. I'm referring back to, you also flew my ultralight now here in Ohio. I was like, you want to do this? And he's like, I guess. Did you know?
No, I had no idea. By yourself?
He did.
No way.
Yeah. It's wild. I've never seen anybody do that.
So you just said, I'll fly this ultralight. You took off, didn't die, landed it.
Well, I'm still here. Was a little bit stressful. But yeah, Mike showed me how to use this, and I have a little bit of principle in my head, and I'm like, okay, let's. So I was testing the throttle, just seeing on the ground. I'm like, well, okay, I got this, and I just pushed it down, all throttle. Okay, here we go.
I think
up
that's
in
what
the
we
air.
call the full send. Is what we call that.
yeah,
dude,
just
I
send it.
was impressed. Hey, I'm not recommending this, guys. Like, don't
Yeah, don't
probably
do this.
don't do
Definitely
this,
not.
but he did it, and
Yeah.
you could probably go right now and fly the thing again.
Yeah, now I've done it. I think just getting in the thing, it was so stressful looking at you. I'm like, well, you make it look so easy. And then just getting in it, I was so uncomfortable. And then I get to go sit in the chair and took off. And then it was just a next level experience.
I
That
think
openness.
that
and
shows how open to new things you are. Not only in South Africa on your ranch, trying, letting a guy come in with a heavy lift drone, thermal drones, trying new social media
Mhm.
tactics, right? Like having influencers there, and then coming over here and it's a brand new thing. You're like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah,
So,
I wouldn't have thought I would be here. Here we go.
yeah.
But here I am. Some people also ask me about that heavy lift drone. Like, why don't you just get a helicopter? And as soon as you get a helicopter or something that big, it makes so much noise, and it's so you chase away all animals
Yeah.
in that area. If once you've been in there with a helicopter, like everything goes lays down, and it's
Done.
just not worth it.
Think of that.
Yeah, the drone, it's small, it's
What
not
do
that
you-
loud. Like,
What do you spend to get an helicopter to come in? Like, isn't that
oh, that's pretty.
expensive? Yeah.
It's cheap for you guys, but for us, it's expensive. Now they're like $600 an hour, $500 an
Yeah.
hour, and that's flying. So you'll have to charter them in, ferry them into the farm. We don't have one up close. There's one 1 hour away. Like we do have clients that want to go to the airport with a helicopter, so we have that. But flying on the range, I don't like that. I like being quiet, having the animals being calm and all that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So going back to thermal drones, you've had another ranch owner approach you to buy your thermal drone. Are there not many options to buy thermal drones in South Africa?
I haven't went into like buying another one, but I would think it would be pretty hard to get it and expensive if you were to go get a new one, because there's no secondhand drones that you would get.
Okay.
Not that size of drone.
Yeah.
Like not every guy has one.
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to get people to have or buy one, because you think it's expensive. It's so much money to have one, but the amount of things this thing can help you with. I've had game. We had the river come down, big rain, and it lifted up one of the fences, and some animals came through. And we checked the fence, and I saw there was 1 or 2, 3 tracks going through to the neighbors. And I had my guys see. He closed up the hole, and then a couple days later, we saw 3 or 4 animals out. I'm like, okay, that's not too much. And these animals, only I have them. I have to have a high fence to be able to keep them. I have to have different permits to have them as well. It's exotics. And this was still new when I just got the drone. You guys just left. It wasn't long after that. So I was pretty scared to fly this thing. And I flew and took it up one night when it was pretty cold, and found out it was not just 3, it was like 18 animals out. And that would have been a lot. I could have bought 3 of these drones with the money of the animals just went out. And people don't realize that. Like you think it's just 1 or 2, but you don't know. It's the bush is so big.
You would have only counted maybe 3 or 4 if you wouldn't have had that.
Mhm.
Is what you're saying, because you've seen them from the road or whatever.
Yeah, and we tried even just before the drone, we would walk through that bush and we would see 1, 2, or 3. Like they're so good at hiding out and avoiding you. You would never have found them,
Yeah.
and that drone really helped.
So that paid for itself. I mean,
Just
in the
that, yeah.
first month.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how much would those animals been like worth, or what would that have cost you if you would not have had the drone and been able to figure out how many actually got out?
It probably will. It was like 30 grand's worth of animals. I wouldn't know.
Oh my gosh! And the whole drone day recovery kit is only $13,200.
Yeah.
But people, right? Even myself, you look at the cost and you're like, well, geez, I'll never make my money
Right.
back on that. But they haven't tried it and they don't know how well it works, and they haven't been in a situation like that where it's like, well, I only lost 2 animals
Well,
or something like that, not
right,
realizing
yeah.
that maybe 15 others were
Yeah,
out.
because I mean, I'm sure people lose animals like that. It's normal, like every year, right? Animals get out,
Oh yeah,
and
quite
every year
often.
you go
Not
find
even
a
in
couple.
big parks. Lions coming out. We've
Yeah.
had so many of those, and then it goes weeks before people find them. Like
Yeah.
they would, some farmers would say, "Well, I have 10 cattle or 10 sheep."
Yeah.
Sheep
Okay, so what about like when you say lions? What about the game commission or police? Generally speaking, in South Africa, are they equipped with thermal drones, and are they using these to find like escaped game and stuff?
No, no. If it's
Are they
your
using-
it's your responsibility as a ranch owner
Yeah,
to know where your animals are, keep them in.
but what
prevent
about like
them
on
from going
public
out.
land or like?
It's not the same as that. You guys have a game warden.
Yeah,
we
don't have
we-
anything like that.
We won't have somebody going around. There is people that do it, but the areas are so big, it's impossible to really have somebody around the whole time.
Isn't poaching happen on those areas? I mean, isn't that where it happens in like these big open areas where I'm just?
But what would they be trying to poach? Because I don't know if we've hit on this, but let's say it's completely wide open, 100%. There's no rhinos out.
Oh yeah,
No, they need a fence to protect
elephant,
them.
rhino, like all that stuff. Isn't that what poachers go for?
Yeah, rhinos is
fence.
definitely something. I have at a ranch not too far from me. They poach rhinos
Yeah.
from.
But like what Kevin is talking about is why wouldn't say the police, but we call them game wardens. You don't have game wardens
Mhm.
because you don't necessarily have huge tracts of land that's open to the public to come hunt because there's nothing there to hunt.
If
Really?
it's like public land,
Yeah.
like farmers would own
Yeah.
it. There would probably be some springbok and kudu. That's the only animals that would be there, and they're so fast nobody can try to
So
catch
there's
them.
no equivalent to like game wardens in South Africa, like people who are government officials charged with like nature and wildlife.
Well, you get some people that train for it, but the ranch owners pay them, so it would be like a private security
Okay. Yeah.
to have on your ranch. As soon as you're big, you need those.
So what government agency would most benefit from having thermal drones in South Africa?
It's a hard question. I don't know if they can come and do the game couch. I'm not sure what the exact name for it is in English, but
What is it in South Afrikaans?
Afrikaans.
Afrikaans. Is it South Afrikaans or is it just
Afrikaans, yeah.
Okay. What is it called?
What it would sound like, natuurbewaring.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep.
And we work with them to get permits for the animals. Like some animals, you have to have permits to be able to hunt legally for the export and import and all that stuff.
Oh, exporting them.
That-
That's where you need the permit. Not
permit-
necessarily. Say you're local. Do you still need a permit for that?
You still need a permit to have them on your ranch, yes. Yeah, and you have to have some qualifications of fence. Like your fence has to qualify for a grade of fence that I would say. Ours is about 10 foot high, so it's pretty high. But some animals still jump out, like the kudu, they would jump out. But to come back to your question that you just asked about poaching, the main thing about poaching is getting the animals out. Roads, if there's big main roads going next to your ranch, that's a big thing. Like the people have like permanent cameras just watching the fences of people stopping and trying to get over the fence. And that's most of our fences are electrified as well. But people manage just to get through there. So if there's a road close to your ranch, then there's going to be a little bit more poaching. Where I'm at, we're surrounded by mountains. Like if you were to walk there, it would take you a couple of days, and there's no point of doing anything poaching if you want to try it over there.
Yeah, because they couldn't get it out or get it to a road to get it to the black market or whatever they're trying to do with it.
Mhm.
Because your ranch is so far back in that there's no good.
Yeah, if somebody were to, let's say, poach or steal on my ranch, it's a 30-minute drive to the closest town, and that's the only road. And there's 10 farmers on that road. I can just, as soon as something happens, I contact one of those, and they close the road. Like, nobody's getting out of there road-wise.
Yep. That's very handy. Very
Mhm.
practical.
I didn't think of that. Just call the farmer that's 15 miles down the road. Hey, there's a truck coming. Close the road.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. That would definitely help. And me with the drone now, if some security were to happen, because most of the stuff happens at night,
Yeah.
and that's the prime time to use that drone. Like,
Yep. But you're telling other ranch owners that you talk with now the experience that you have with your thermal drone, they should have it as a tool on their ranch.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like if you guys hearing me talk about the deer recoveries that I do and how well it works, if you've thought about getting a thermal drone, if you reach out to Bennie at Hoeksfontein Safaris, he's going to give you real life ranch experience with his thermal drone. And there's going to be scenarios where your drone will be used in things that you can't even think about right now. Like, I say that a lot. It's because I never thought that I would be called to look for a child that's missing in corn or something like that. And I'm glad that I had it. So I think if you're a safari owner, ranch owner, a big farm, you might have cattle, sheep, whatever it might be, just having that thing in your back pocket for when something gets out or predator control or security, I think that you guys would find benefit in that. And that's what you're telling your buddies that you know that have ranches.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. Well, it's hard to tell somebody how good it is on a video or whatever, but to show them actually, it's incredible. Like, I've had hunters over there, and then I just take it off that at the lodge, and I'm like, okay, just walk on the grass, and you can see the footprints or where they were standing. One guy took a leak there, and that was like red.
Didn't that happen once? You and I were filming. Wait, was that you filming with me? No, it was you.
Back in the good old days.
Yeah, back in the good old days.
Yeah.
I just took off, and I'm like, what is this out in the field? And you weren't telling me.
I was like, I ain't saying, but I know.
That's
it was
funny.
bright red. Yeah, it is bright red.
Yeah. That's funny.
And
I
you
forgot
can pick it
about
up for a long time.
Yeah.
Even animals, I was amazed by that. Like, animals laying down, being bedded. If they take off and start running, and then you're like, okay, what is this? Go up, close up, put the camera or the light on, and like, can't see anything.
Yeah.
But then you look up and you see there the animal runs. That's cool that you can pick up that heat too.
I'm going to bring something up about thermal drones again. Is there a business to have a thermal drone in South Africa?
Oh, that's a good question.
So you've obviously been with me, this last week, getting calls, doing recoveries, getting paid for it. Could that be a thing over there, or is it more just as a tool for those ranches?
I think the areas are so big that you're not going to have enough time to go do recoveries like you guys do. 30 minutes out, it's a half an hour out. Like, some of the ranches are that big just to get out of the ranch. If each ranch would have one, I think that would be great. Or
for their clients.
Yeah, for their own clients. Like, you would have.
But to have a private individual think that he's going to have a thermal drone business in South Africa, probably not a thing.
If you were to do that, I would say you must have a big audience. Like, they would know when to call you. If they call you in the afternoon when they shot, like, you still have 6 hours before the next daylight comes. You have time to get there. It's just going to be a lot of traveling on the roads to be able to get to all these places. And some places don't have signal as well.
So, but if you said there's like 10 farmers between you and 30 minutes to town or whatever, isn't there at least an opportunity for you to make a little side gig income, or to, rent it out to any of those 10 farmers or other ranchers in your area?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially the sheep farmers. That would definitely be a big thing, because they would round out a camp. And the first thing farmers would say is, well, there's 10 sheep where they stole it. And they would go back to that same camp and round again. Okay, there's 3 they missed. So if I were to be, or someone with a thermal drone were to go there just before daylight and just go fly over the camp, they would definitely spot it and know where to go search for that animal. That would definitely be something, and save that farmer a lot of time.
Is that something you would do if you got those calls? Like, would you do that, or is it you don't have time?
If I'm not busy hunting, I would help people do stuff like that. Like, especially in the shearing season, where they would shear the wool.
Yeah.
Some sheep that are so smart that hasn't been sheared in 2 years.
What?
Oh yeah, they're like wild.
No
Smart sheep.
Smart sheep, you get those.
You almost gotta
The
hunt them at
wool,
that
it's
point.
just wool, just a round piece. Like, you would actually, we hunted them, but so wild you couldn't catch them. Yeah.
That's impressive. I didn't even think of that. So basically, those sheep were not accounted for if they can't find them.
No. If they can't find it, they assume they're either stolen or dead. And they do die. There is some that die, depending on what species.
What about snakes? Seen any snakes? Do you have snakes in South Africa?
Yes, we do have.
Can you find them with a thermal drone?
What's it like on thermal?
I haven't gone out to go look for snakes, to be honest, but you would pick them up, I'm sure. Because
Because you got big ones, right? Like you have 9-foot snakes or 15-foot snakes.
pythons.
Yeah.
We don't have that in my area. No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I think that's in Florida.
Oh, is it? Come
I
on,
don't
they have
know.
everything exotic and crazy in Africa.
I don't
There
know.
are big snakes, but they're more in tropical areas.
Okay, so
we
you don't
yeah.
have any on your ranch. You wouldn't have really snakes.
We do have snakes. We have puff fighters, boomslang, and smaller snakes. We
Are
have
those
Cape
like
Cobras.
a rattler or
They're kind of
rattlesnake
a puff
size or-
fighter is almost like a rattler, the
Yeah.
same size, and they don't have the thingy that
Yeah.
they don't give you a warning, but they won't necessarily go after you. Like
Hmm.
if I find a snake close to the lodge, I would kill it. But if it's
Mhm.
in the nature, I would just leave them because they only have the roles in nature.
I don't know. I thought that was really good. I don't have many more questions for him on the thermal drone side of things. I think we hit it with the heavy lift stuff. Do you have anything
I
else?
think like one of the coolest things about the job that we get to do is like your passion for drones and how it like opens the doors to other people experiencing new things.
Yeah.
And I think, Benny, it's
Yeah.
great that you now have a thermal drone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're figuring out all these other ways of making it useful.
Although we're talking about it, I don't know if we can even sell a thermal drone to somebody. In South
Can't do it.
Africa.
Yeah, can't sell your drone in South
No,
Africa.
No, you would have
But-
to
but
get
if
your
you're
own
an-
dealer in South
yeah.
Africa.
But if you're an American ranch, right? There's big ranches in America. If you're listening, or if you know somebody that could use this, like tell them about the drone deer recovery kit. It's basically a kit that I put together that you don't need to guess what you need, like how many batteries you need, like all that stuff. So we built an easy to buy kit.
Yeah.
But,
Mhm.
Yep, very cool.
Do you guys? I don't know about the Hoeksfontein side. You have some questions about hunting going
yeah.
over there?
So on the hunting side, basically, if somebody's interested in hunting safari type animals,
yeah,
check out your website.
yeah. I'm sure you have the website on here. Go and have a look.
Can you give it to us? What is it?
The Hoeksfontein Safaris, but it'll be hoeksfontein.co.za. The website,
because
yeah.
it's not. So is it not a .com?
No, it's not a .com. So co.za. ZA is South African. .com would be American or international.
Can you buy a .com or no?
You can buy a .com.
You need to have like Benny'sRanch.com or something that
Yeah.
us Americans can know how
I know
to
you
spell.
wouldn't be able to spell Hoeksfontein, but I'm sure you guys would have it.
Yeah. If you guys want to go to South Africa and experience it, the beauty there is incredible. If you guys are watching on YouTube, we'll put some videos up there of what the terrain looks like. It is a challenge. Don't just think that you're going to go there and walk up to something and easily kill it, because it's very big. The terrain is cool.
It is. It's
Um,
not like high fenced hunting that you guys would imagine. It's small. It's really big. And it's not just hunting. We do tours, safari tours, photo safaris. So you don't have to be a hunter to come. We tie to the Kruger, to Addo Elephant Park. There's so many sightseeing stuff that we can take you guys to do. So it's not just hunting.
So there's a lot of different things you do. What would you say like you are the very best at, and who is the best kind of customer? Like who will you give the absolute best experience to? Is it large groups, small groups, families, hunting, and then what?
So
you just did a
I
sales
like
pitch.
family groups as well coming over. If you're a very big trophy hunter, you're going to be coming alone or whatever you're going after. But we got a big lodge. Like I can sleep 20 people, accommodate 20 people. And there's a swimming pool, there's a gym, there's an entertainment area. So it's not just you go
It's
and
nice.
hunt and you sleep. There's the woman can come to the lodge and they can go and tan or swim or go to the gym or even just take a walk between the animals. We have giraffe actually come up to the lodge, like they would walk in between the houses, and same with the Inyala and the Lechwe.
No.
You get to see them up close, and
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
It is really nice. And the cost to go there, I think, like super expensive. It's actually not that expensive
No,
if you compare it to,
Other hunts.
say, like an elk hunt or a moose hunt. or
Yeah, I
something
was.
like
Some people go do red stag in New Zealand, go to Alaska for a moose. Moose is one thing I would also go and do, but some of the prices are ridiculous. It's really fairly priced. Like you can go to South Africa, shoot. People think they have to buy a tag to go to South Africa. You don't have to have a tag. Like we own the animals that's in our ranch. Like we have to manage and we own them, so you don't have to have a tag. You don't have to do any draw to go. It's if you want a kudu or impala, you just tell me you want a list of this is the list that you like, and we plan that out. And you come and hunt for it. You won't necessarily get everything on your list if you have a list of 20 animals, but we kind of try and guarantee you what animal that you desire to hunt. And that can range from 5 to 10. We've had people do 20 animals in 2 weeks.
Wow.
It's the 20 different species. It's not just you shoot whitetail or a deer.
We're doing deer recoveries. He's like, Mike, do you get tired of doing deer? It's deer over.
Deer. And you said this is a big buck. And I'm like, well, it pretty looks the same as the other ones we just did. and now this one's very big. And
so a lot of different variety.
Yeah. And it's so hard to measure them for me. Like we have fallow deer that you measure all the points like you guys do. And we don't do like kudu. You would measure the spiral.
Yeah.
And it'll be 40 inches. It would be just one horn. It's not both horns.
Okay.
There's different ways of measuring it. For me coming here, just doing whitetail, I did elk in Colorado as well. And that was pretty cool. And I'm going to do a sika deer in Maryland. That I think is going to be a cool experience for me. That's something I haven't seen or done.
I wonder how that's going to go.
I'll let you guys know how it goes. But yeah, if you guys want to do any safari in South Africa, please contact me on Hoeksfontein Safaris. It's the email, or email would probably be the best because we don't normally text like you guys do.
When I first got in touch with Bennie, he started sending these audio things. Like I would listen to
voice
him.
notes?
Yeah, a voice note. But after doing it for a while, I'm like, this is kind of convenient.
It is, and it's a lot safer. Like if you were to drive, I don't like texting, like typing, all that stuff. You're looking at your phone. You can still drive, do a voice note, just talk into the phone.
Yep.
And the other person can hear the whole thing that you want to say.
Yeah,
that's a lot easier. But
you're on Instagram.
I'm
right?
on Instagram, on Facebook.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel.
Do you upload?
Not as much as I should. I am next year. I am gonna.
YouTube is hard. YouTube is a hard thing to do because to upload consistently, it takes some work.
Yeah, so that's the plan for next year. Like I'm gonna have a photographer doing all the hunts. So I'm gonna have a lot of new stuff coming up next year. I'm gonna go a little bit over the top to get the social media going and the YouTube and all that channel, because that's important nowadays in any business that you have.
Before we go, I'm gonna touch on drone spraying a little bit because you obviously came here for drone deer with thermal drones, and then you've seen our agricultural side. You've seen the trailers. You've seen what these drones can do spraying wise. You made contact back in South Africa.
Yeah,
somebody that does have a spray drone business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a friend that does a spraying business that is fairly new, but he's doing pretty well.
But he doesn't have a trailer, and you looked at the trailer and you were like, you think you could build something like this in South Africa, but there's a lot of different rules and stuff. So your guy that you know in South Africa that's spraying is not using a trailer and landing in the dirt and that type of stuff over there, right?
He's not using a trailer, no. He's just using it from a small truck that he has that kind of carries all the chemicals and the water mix.
Did he mention is the spray, like drone spraying in South Africa, is that something that's growing?
It is definitely growing. Like he's busy every day. And I'm happy for him. And that's also one thing, like your trailers work so nice. I looked at the setup and it's pretty cool, but you must kind of look at where you are spraying, like what areas. Like some areas you'd have this work better than the other way.
Yeah.
So your trailers would probably be, some places would be a bit too high to go underneath trees.
In South Africa.
Yeah, some places it would work. It would definitely work. Like that would be a perfect set.
Yeah, because you had mentioned over there they might want a truck that is set up with a flight deck up top.
Yeah, because we have different road rules that
we're already working on trying to figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah, sometime soon.
But as far as drone spraying in South Africa, I don't have a lot of experience. I know that a lot of people reach out to me from South Africa on the NuWay channel that want to come here and do work, and then also go back to South Africa to do drone spraying. But outside of that, I don't have much more to say about drone spraying. How many acres did your buddy spray with his drones? And you said he's new to it.
So we work in hectares, so that's pretty hard to do the conversion in my head.
How many hectares did
he do? I
think
he said he did like 400 hectares a day.
No. 400 hectares. That sounds like it's a really good day.
Yeah, that's
with 4 drones. Isn't that almost double?
Yeah.
That was 4 drones.
It was 4 drones.
Yeah. So it'd be similar than what you guys do, because he uses a T40.
And his setup, right? We don't know what his setup is. Is he a really good, efficient setup? Because as we, developed NuWay and the NuWay trailer,
Mhm.
it was all about getting more efficient. And that guy, if he's new, he's already thinking of
Improving.
things he can improve.
Oh,
Yep,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah, he's also waiting for the T60 to come out now. He doesn't want to go to the T50.
To the 50. I think that's what Austin's doing. That's what you're talking about, right? Yeah, waiting on the T60.
Mhm.
We'll see. We're told it's coming, but that coming might be a year and a half, 2 years from now. But hopefully. Anything else you want to add to this?
No, I think it's been fun to learn about South Africa, what you have going on there, and it's fun to be back on the podcast. It's been too long.
Dude, I like it. I like it. If you guys want to hear more of these, give it a thumbs up. I don't know if you comment on podcasts on Apple Podcasts and stuff, but let us know if you want to hear more of these types of podcasts where we just go in depth and talk about what it is that we're doing, having special guests like Bennie from Hoeksfontein Safaris. Again, guys, if you want to try a South African hunt, make sure to check him out. We'll leave it in the description. Before we go, I'm going to say, Landon, cameraman Landon, how many countries did you travel? 27 countries.
That's cool.
And are you still convinced? At one time, you were saying that you think that is the prettiest country that you've been to. That's still a thing? Okay, so Landon is saying that he's traveled 27 different countries, and South Africa, where we were at Hoeksfontein, is his top
It's
country.
all different.
That's
scenery.
incredible.
Wow.
Well, that
actually
What a
is
sales
incredible.
pitch that is.
Yeah, we saved that for the end. We should have led with that.
The one picture we took in the evening when the sun was setting, you were on the pickup with that red.
Yep,
It was
yep,
just red. That's beautiful. You should probably put that up for the guys to
Yeah,
see.
it'll be in here somewhere.
That was a beautiful picture.
Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much, Bennie, for coming here.
Thank you guys for having me.
I hope it's not the last time, but there you go. Another Drone Deer Recovery podcast talking about South Africa, thermal drones, spray drones, heavy lift drones. We got into it all here, but that's all I got.
Yeah, we got so much exciting stuff we're working on.
Yeah.
2025 is going to be an amazing year.
We definitely do have to do the podcast because we can talk about.
There's so
more.
much we need to cover. Like that is not for this podcast, but like we got to keep doing it because there's a lot of exciting stuff. So,
Cool. All right.
Until next time.
That's all we got.
Peace.
All right, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.